जमुना माई की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, Samaveta Bhaktavinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled body. All glories to the assembled body. All glories to the assembled body. Thank you very much. Dr. Atmaram, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much for your kindly coming here and participating in this Krishna consciousness movement. Today I shall discuss one chapter from Srimad Bhagavatam. This is 7th canto, 6th chapter. The statement by Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was a great devotee and his father was a great atheist. The struggle between the theist and the atheist is perpetual. It is not new. Actually, anyone who is in this material world, he is supposed to be atheist, because just like the government gets together all the criminals in the prison house, similarly, those who are disobedient to the laws of the Supreme Lord, such criminals are sent into this material world. Ichat desha samuthena sarge janti parantava. Icha and desha. Icha means desiring, and desha means hating. These two things are there. It is natural. A living entity, even in God, there is such things. But in God, because He is absolute, His hingsa, desha or love is the same thing. Adda again. Just like, for example, those who are scientifically searching after God, the Gyanis, they also merge into the existence of God. And similarly, the enemies, the atheists, just like Hiranyakashipu, Ravan, Kansa, they were killed by God, but they got the same salvation. That is God, absolute. So, Prahlad Maharaj was a son of atheist. His father would not allow him to cultivate Krishna consciousness, but he was naturally Krishna conscious. And as soon as he would get some opportunity in the school, because the school was also full of students who were born of atheistic father. So, as soon as he would get some opportunity in the tiffin hour, he would speak something about God consciousness. So that chapter is here. He is teaching to his fellow students. Kaumaram acharit prajna dharman bhagavatani ha durlabang manusang janma tadapi adhurvam arthadam. This is the science. Durlabang manusam janma. This human form of body is very, very difficult to obtain. In this material world, there are 8,400,000 species of life. Jalajanam lakhani, Sabara lakha vimshati. The aquatic animals, there are 9,900,000. Similarly, Sabara. Sabara means those who cannot move, just like trees, plants, hills. They are called Sabara. And those who can move, they are called Jangama. Sabar Jangam. Moving and not moving. But all of them are living entities. So, these non-moving entities, namely the trees, the plants, the grass, they cannot move. Apadani, they are called apadani. Apadani chatuspadam. Everything is described there. The nature's law. Ahastani sahastanam, apadani chatuspadam, nunang mahatang tatra, jiva jivasa jivanam. Ahastani, sahastanam, just like man has got hands, therefore he eats some animal which has no hand, only legs. That means pashu. Similarly, apadani chatuspadam. Apadani means one who has legs, cannot move. That means the trees and the plants and the grass and the straw. They are foodstuff for the chatuspadam, for the animals. Goats, cows, buffalo, they eat them. Nunang mahatang tatra. And those who are weak, they are eatable by the strong. In this way, jiva jivasya jivanam. Every living entity is the food of some other living entity. Just like we are eating here, animals, not we, but some of us. But we are also eatable by the tigers, because the tiger is strong. So, nunang mahatang tatra. There in the jungles there are snakes, big snakes. They eat small snakes. So this is struggle for existence is going on. So, we have to pass through all these lives. This tree life, the aquatic life, when the whole world was merged into water, pralaya payadhi jale. At that time, the living entities were in fish form, aquatics. Then as the land dried, the living entities began to take the forms of trees, plants and grasses. Then gradually, Jalajanam lakhani sthabala lakhavincha. Krimayo ruddha sankhaka. Krimaya means insects. There are different kinds of insects. There are 11 lakhs species. And then, Pakshinam dasalakkham. You know, every one of us, you have seen that worms, they develop their feather. The ants also, at the time of death, they develop their feather. So, from the insect life, the evolution comes to the bird's life. Pakshinam dasalakhakam. And we had to pass through these 10,000 species of life in the bird life. Then, Pasava Tinsalakhani, then 300,000 of species of life in the animal kingdom. Then we get Manusha Chatulakha. There are 400,000 species of life in the human form or body. Out of them, 90% they are not to be considered as human beings, uncivilized. Maybe 10%, 5% only civilized. Amongst the civilized beings, most of them, they are not following the Vedic principles. Or even they are following Vedic principles. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Vedo Bado Rata Prartha, simply, falsely talking of Vedas, but he does not know what is Veda, what is the purpose of Veda. The purpose of Veda is stated in the Vedanta Sutra, that Vedanta means the last stage of knowledge or the topmost understanding of knowledge. Veda means knowledge, and Anta means this end, Vedanta. The Vedanta, in the Vedanta Sutra, the first aphorism is called Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Athato Brahma Jigyasa means that these Vedanta or these Vedas, they are not meant for the animals. The animals cannot understand what is Veda. They have got knowledge of this Ahara Nidra Bhayamaitha. We are trying to improve our material status, how to eat, how to sleep, how to mate, how to have sense enjoyment, sex life, and how to defend. So the defending process, the so-called advancement of civilization in eating, mating, and sleeping, these things can be learnt without any scientific knowledge. Ahara nidra bhayamaitunancha samanyametat pasubhi narana. Eating, we are eating, the dog is also eating, the tiger is also eating, the elephant is eating, the ant is also eating, but they have no problem. The elephant is eating at a time 40 kilos, and the ant is eating 1 grain. But by the arrangement of the Supreme Lord, the 1 grain is also there, and the 40 kilos are also there. Who is providing for the elephant? Who is providing for the tiger? And who is providing for the ant? But there is arrangement. In the Vedas it is stated, Eka bahunam vidadhati kaman nitya nityanam cetana cetananam eka bahunam vidadhati kaman. These are the statements of Vedas, that the Nitya, the Supreme Lord, is eternal. And we, the living entities, we are also eternal. Na jayate na mriyate va nitta sasatoyam na hannate hannamane sarire. So we are also eternal. And Krishna, the Supreme Lord, or the Absolute Truth, or the Parabrahma, Paramatma, He is also eternal. We are equal in quality. And similarly, God is also living force, a creative force. We are also creative force. Nitya nityanam, chetana chetananam. Then what is the difference between God and me? The difference is, He is Eka. He is only one. God is one. And we are many. Bahunam. Then what is our relationship? Eka, this one is feeding all these numeric, all these manys. So by nature, either you call by nature or by God's arrangement, these problems, ahara nidra bhaya maithun, is already there. You can see it, that out of 8,400,000 species of life, there is only 400,000 species of life in the human kingdom. Out of them, most of them are uncivilized. But except the so-called civilized human being, there is no problem for their eating, sleeping, mating and defending. So why the civilized man will have the problem of eating, sleeping and mating? Why? What is the reason? Because in his civilized form, he wants to forget God. That is the fault. That is the offense of the so-called human civilized life. Therefore they are suffering. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Tisam nityavijuktanam yogochimam mahamaham. He is supplying food to everyone. Suppose there are 8,400,000 species of life, and if he is supplying 300,000 species of life, why not for the 100,000 species of life, the civilized human form of life? Why? Why God should be so much partial? No, that is not the thing. The real thing is that the so-called civilized man, they are trying to forget God. That is their fault. Our process is that whatever you may be a scientific man, you may be something else, it doesn't matter. But you must see whether you are making perfection of your life. That formula is there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It is said there, Atapung vidija sreshta varnasrama vibhagasa shanusthitasya dharmasya samsiddhi haritosanam. You may be engaged in any occupational duty of your life. Duty means according to position. A scientist's duty is to work in the laboratory. A lawyer's duty is to practice in the court. A businessman's duty is to go and keep up his shop nicely. So there are different kinds of duty. You cannot say that everyone will have the same duty. That is not possible. Just like in our body, there are different parts of limbs. The mouth is doing something, the hand is doing something, the belly, the abdomen is doing something, the leg is doing something. Similarly, as there is division in the body, there must be social division in the social body. That is called varnashrama vibhagasa. Scientifically, we are divided, not we, but by the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Chatur Varnangamaya system, Guna Karma Vibhagasa. There are 4 divisions of the human society according to quality and according to karma, not by birth. He never says by birth. This is not accepted in the Shastras, that these divisions of social life should be calculated by birth. No, by guna, by quality and by karma. Just like Dr. Atmaram is scientist because he has acquired the qualities of a scientist and is working in his laboratory for scientific research. Therefore, he is scientist. Similarly, there are divisions. Now there are many divisions, but formerly there were grossly 4 divisions only. The Brahmin, the Kshatriya, the Vaishya and the Shudra. The most intelligent class of men were known as Brahmins. And the next, the administrator class of men, they are called Kshatriyas. One who gives protection to the citizen from attack by others. So they are called Kshatriyas. And similarly, those who are producing the food products, Krishi, Go, Raksha, Vanijam, Vaishya, Karma, Svabhajam. So the intelligent class, the administrative class, the productive class, and the Shudra, the laborer class. This is most scientific division. As there is scientific division in the body, there is brain, there is hand, there is abdomen, there is leg. Similarly, these divisions are there and they have their duty. The Brahman, they should be truthful, sattva, sama, dhamma, titiksha, arjava, jnanam, vijnanam. This vijnana science is the subject matter for the Brahmins. It is not. The understanding of God is unscientific. Jnanam means savijnanam. Vijnanam. If we don't understand through science what is God, then that knowledge of God, just like foolish person, they ascribe some, I would say, faulty behavior in the affairs of gopis, because they do not know, they have no scientific knowledge of Krishna. Therefore Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that manusyanam sahasreshu kaschit jatati siddhaye. Not all men. Manusya, according to Sri Ramanujarya, manusya means one who has got control over the Shastra. He is called a manusya. Shastradhikara. He has described manusya. When this, commenting on this verse, manusyanam sahasreshu kaschit jatati siddhaye, Sri Ramanujarya, he says, manusya shastradhikara yogya, those who are fit for understanding the Shastras, the Vedas, they are Manusya. Otherwise, according to Acharya, they are not considered as Manusya. Manusyanam sahasreshu kaschid jatati siddhaye jatatamapi siddhyanam kaschid betimam tattata. Those who do not understand what is Krishna scientifically, they commit that mistake. Unfortunately, in our society, the so-called reciters of Srimad Bhagavatam, they jump over the 10th canto and especially the 5 chapters describing the Rasa Leela of Bhagavan Krishna without understanding Krishna, because they want cheap adoration from materialistic persons who are very much fond of sex life. So these so-called reciters, they take advantage of this weakness of the public, and at once they go to that Rasa Leela chapter and recite. Therefore this impression has come. Otherwise, one who knows scientifically Krishna, he will not jump over like that to recite the 5 chapters in the Srimad Bhagavatam describes Krishna's Leela with gopis. That is very scientific. But these rascals, they do not know. They do not understand what is Krishna. They think of Krishna as ordinary man. Avajananti manga mura manusim tan sumasita. And because they want cheap audience, they have caused this defamation against the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was sannyasi. No woman could offer him respect coming nearer. He ordered that woman should offer me respect from a distant place. He has given another verse that Niskinchanana Niskinchanasya Bhagavad Bhajanonmukhasya. Those who are desiring to understand Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Niskinchanas Bhagavad Bhajanonmukhas. Niskinchana means one who has no more desire for any material sense enjoyment. They are called Niskinchana. And such person can engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Jesam antagatam papam jananam punnakarmanam te dandamaha nirmukta bhajanti mangdirabrata. So this Bhagavad Bhajan is not for ordinary men. Those who are completely uncontaminated from all sinful activities. Such person can be engaged in devotional service. Therefore, our students are forbidden the prime principles of sinful life, illicit sex life, intoxication, meat eating, and gambling. So, when these people are trying to reach Krishna, being completely pure from all contamination of sinful life, does it mean they are going to worship Krishna who is sinful? Is that very reasonable? But we do not understand Krishna. Therefore, Krishna says, Manusyanam sahasreshu kaschid jatati siddhaye jatatamapi siddhana kaschid vetimam tattata. So, understanding of Krishna is not for ordinary man, but the most scientific and pure soul. Because Krishna says, only persons who are siddhas in the perfectional stage of life, he can understand. Not all. Those who are in the perfectional stage of life, Brahma Bhuta, out of them, Jatatamapi Siddhanam, Kaschit, out of them one may, Kaschit means one, may understand Krishna. And so far his connection with the gopis, that is not understandable by persons who are not free from sinful activities. Therefore, there are 12 cantos in the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and 9 cantos are there for understanding what is Bhagavan. Just like here in the 7th chapter, 7th canto, Prahlad Maharaj is describing about the Bhagavad Dharma. Bhagavad Dharma means to understand God. Bhagavan is the Supreme Personality of God. And Bhagavad means the knowledge about the Supreme Personality of God. So Prahlad Maharaj recommends here, Kaumarang acharit pragga dharmana bhagavataniha. This Bhagavad Dharma should be taught to the students from the very childhood, Kaumaram. The Kaumara age is from 5 years to 16 years. That is the recommendation. Kaumarang acharat pragga dharman. Why Kaumaram? Because if we do not teach the students what is Bhagavan, the scientific knowledge of the students, every educational quality can be achieved or attained when it is attempted in childhood. In old age it is not possible. Sometimes ago I read in the paper in Unnao district, one father and one daughter appeared in BA examination. The daughter passed nicely, the father failed. Therefore, any educational system should be taught from the beginning of life. This Prahlad Maharaj says, Kaumarang acharit pragya. Pragya means one who is actually in knowledge. They should teach the science of God. Bhagavad Vigyan. This Bhagavad Vigyan. Evang prasanna manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogata Bhagavad Tattva Vigyanam. It is not sentiment. It is a Vigyanam. Emang prasanna manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogata. If you train yourself in the Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga, then you become very joyful, prasanna manas. That is the scientific knowledge of God. The symptom, if anyone says that I know what is God, the symptom must be there. What is the symptom? Joyfulness. Brahma bhuta prasannatma na sochati na kankati samas sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhakti lavate para. So, this bhakti yoga is so nice that if you execute it properly according to the scientific way, Savaram Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasivanam Marchanam Bandhanam Dasam Sakkam Atmani Vedanam. These are the scientific process. The first process is that you must hear, as you go to college and hear the professor, then you become advanced in that particular type of knowledge. Similarly, you must hear first of all. Without hearing, how you can understand God? Without hearing, you cannot understand any ordinary subject matter. How you can understand the absolute truth? without hearing. Therefore the Vedanta recommends, Athata Brahma Jignasa. Now you inquire about this human form of life. Now you inquire about God. But where is that education? Where is that education? I was invited to speak in Massachusetts Technological Institute. So my first challenge was, where is your technology by which you can distinguish a dead man and a living man? What is that technology? How you distinguish this dead man and the living man? I speak of my father, my brother. Here is my father, here is my brother. But when they are dead, I say my father has gone, my brother has gone. Where he has gone? He is lying there. Where is your science to see who was your father, who was your brother? Where is that science? If you say this body is my father, then the body is lying there. Why you are crying? Why you are saying that my brother is gone? That means you have never seen your brother, never seen your father. So in blindness, so what is the use of that scientific knowledge? If you have got scientific knowledge, if you say this is a lump of matter, chemicals, then replace that chemical and make him alive again. That is scientific knowledge. Not theory, just like Darwin theory. He has no knowledge, scientific knowledge, how these bodies are evolution. He says something missing, so many theories. No, here is the scientific theory that Prahlad Maharaj said, Durlabhanga manusanga janma. He knows the science. Therefore he says, Durlabham. This human form of life is very rare. Why? Because he knows that the soul had to pass through so many millions of bodies. Vasangsi jillani jatha vihaya. Just like we change our dress, one dress to another. Similarly, the soul is changing from the aquatic body to the plant life, to the plant life, to the insect life, from insect life to bird's life, to bird's life, to beast life, from beast life, from human form. This is evolution. The body is not evolving. The soul is getting different types of body according to his desire, either by nature's arrangement or by his own will. So long he is living within the bodies less than human body, it is nature's arrangement. Prakite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasa ahankara vimuratma kattaham iti mannate karmana daimanetrena jantur deha upapattaye. These are scientific statements. The difference is that we do not consult the scientific knowledge. We want to make research with our blunt senses. That is not possible. We have to take scientific knowledge from the authorities. Vedas. Just like Veda says, the stool, animal stool, is impure, but the cow's stool is pure. Now, you can argue both of them are animal by physiological, biological condition. So why one animal's stool is pure and other animal's stool is impure? But if you analyze scientifically, you will see the cow dung is full of antiseptic property. So, if you take knowledge, scientific knowledge from the Vedas, you save the time. That is deductive knowledge. You take the knowledge from the perfect and you get perfect knowledge. Jasmin vijñāte sarvamedam vijñātam bhavanti. But if you take knowledge from imperfect, then your knowledge is imperfect. Therefore, scientific knowledge should be taken from the Vedas. It is everything there. Simply, we have to search out a qualified professor. Tad vijnanartham sa gurumeva avigachet. This avigachet means must, otherwise he will not be able to understand. So God's knowledge is scientific. Jnanam me savijnanam. So this religion without scientific knowledge is simply sentiment. It has no value. Generally, religion is going on under sentiment. Therefore, the condition of the human society is so fallen. But the whole science is described there. It must be learned from the qualified professor. Otherwise, and religion means, it is stated, dharmantu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Religion is not unscientific because it is coming from the most perfect, nitya nityanam cetana cetananam, apaurashya. How it is coming? You can say, therefore, the Supreme Personality comes personally and establishes religion. Most scientific. He comes here, paritranaya sadhuna, vinasaya chaduskita, dharma samasthapanarthaya, jambhavami juge juge. So, a man cannot give religion. Man-made religion is not religion. But the religion given by God, that is religion. And what is that religion? Sarvadharman parityajya mamekang saranang braj. Ahanta sarvapapebha mokkhasyami mas. Krishna says that you give up everything, simply surrender unto me, and I will give you all protection and all knowledge. Tesamiva anukampatham aham ajnanajam tama nasrayami atmabhavastha jnanadipena bhasata. So, if our only disease is that we have revolted against God, therefore we are under the clutches of Maya, illusion. Daividhi sa gunamai mama maya durattaya mameva japrapaddante mayamedang tarantite. This is the process. We are placed under the clutches of Maya, therefore we are in illusion. We do not know what to do. But if you put yourself under the protection of the Supreme, then you know everything. But you cannot claim that you are independent. You are not independent. That is another Maya. We are dependent. Every one of us, we are dependent. Just like we Indians, we are dependent on the government. So where is your independence? You want to do something, but the government will not allow it. Then you are dependent. In any condition, you are dependent. I talked with Professor Kotovsky in Moscow. So there are many talks. Ultimately I told Professor, after all, you have surrendered to somebody. You have surrendered to Lenin, and we have surrendered to Krishna. So the principle of surrender is there. Either you become communist or this is or that is. So our conclusion is that why should we surrender to Lenin? Let us surrender to Krishna. Parang vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtana. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.